Something. Okay.
Is that me? Are we live?
Yeah, live.
Hey, sorry, what is your team name?
Maultaschen Tübingen.
Maultaschen?
Maultaschen.
Maultaschen. And it means?
You're gonna see in the spirit circle.
Okay, it's because I'm commenting, but I'm... Okay. Hi.
From the region where we are from.
Okay, cool. We look forward to it. Hi everyone, sorry we're a bit late, we had to relocate to the other side. Discover scored on their first offensive point, so I'm trying to adjust the headset right now. 1 sec. Yeah, and here we see that this goes up for the easy Maultaschen score. The game is 1-0. I'm still trying to adjust the headset, so bear with me for a second. What on earth is going on here? Okay, this should be better. Let me know if the sound is off, but this should be it. The score is 1-1 now. Both teams have held on their offensive points. Discover turned the discover, but quickly got it back and then got in the end zone. And to be fair, their offensive point was really good, and it was an unfortunate drop by Lydia in the end zone. So it looked okay. And again, a confident hold as well by Maultaschen. I really hope I'm saying the name correct. I've been informed by one of the players that it's a food that will be told about in the spirit circle. To recap, Maultaschen, have you won 1 or 2 games?
Yeah, against Yeahhhhhh, we won.
You won. Okay, so you are 1-3. You have won 1 and lost 3.
Yes.
Yes, so Maultaschen have won 1 game in the pool and lost 3. Discover have won 3 and lost 1. 2 of the games Discover have lost, 1 have been on Universe Point, so close games. As we see, Brinjel turn it over, miscommunication with Santa Maria, who quickly gets it back on D. The wind has picked up a little bit, so the flick with and Pachar puts it up. Nice floaty pass, but a bit underthrown to Maria. I think he simply wanted her to cut so much that it was a bit too slow. The offensive player had time to sort of catch up. We see Maultaschen on, and he hucks it deep. It's gonna float a bit left where Johnny is, and Johnny gets the disc. It's a bit of a sloppy. Oh, that's the sort of contact we don't want to see, but clearly not meant to. I think he just didn't see Lydia in the end here. As Discover, who usually with a calm offense, trying to slow down the pace. They've made some uncharacteristic turns. Clearly a bit frustrated by the Maultaschen zone here. The 4 handlers. Oh, it's technically 3 handlers and then Maria there working against the zone. As we saw earlier today, you can beat the zone by the handlers simply outrunning it, but as it is now, Discover seems to be content just swinging the disc, making the zone run a bit, which is not a bad strategy because, as you see here, Patrao and Santa Maria are more or less standing still, whereas the zone has to work. Oh, beautiful grab by Johnny here. And Maria sends it to Lydia, who's free in the end zone, and makes a nice grab. A bit of a risky throw by Santa Maria, a bit underthrown. It was a nice look, but Johnny bails him out and gives it off to Maria, who shows a nice deep pass to a completely open Lydia. So the score is 2-1 now. Both teams have held on offense. I forgot my water, but both teams have held an offense so far. A bit of a sloppy point from both teams, but for Discover, maybe the nerves are playing in a little bit. again, I would also say the wind has picked up, and it's a nasty crosswind. So you might see some of the discs that go in the direction of where the scoreboard is. They might get pretty floaty. Because that's where the wind will carry them. So if you accidentally throw it in, like with the wind that way, so if the disc turns up against the wind that way, it can actually end up floating out a bit. And I now see two of my former teammates, Doug Ollie and Isa Duale, joining here. They won't join the cast because they're scrubs. But guys, how's Chevron doing? They play for Chevron. To who? Fuck! Well, it means you're going out in style tonight. Heartbreaking loss for Chevron, apparently. Against Mooncatchers in quarters. Not. You know, for someone like me who has friends who play in the Chevron team, that's heartbreaking. Here we see them hucking deep, but Ines seems to have read that disc perfectly. Uncontested foul. It appeared that, you know, she made contact. Nothing really, yeah. Clearly, the defender says at the beginning, yeah, uncontested. Game goes on. The game resets at. Hey, Dougie, you can get into the camera and say hi. This is a friend from university, Doug Ollie, all here, who plays for Chevron, as you can see, the British Open team based in Manchester. Here as Discover's trying to move the disc up the pitch. Oh, that's a bit of a wonky pass that Pedro ends up with in the end. Who calls a foul? It looks like an uncontested foul. So disc will reset to 0. Discover here with a chance to break. Oh, maybe it is no, uncontested. Uncontested foul. Yeah, Discover here with a chance to break. Pedro's looking for the reset, gets it with Inez, who looks up the pitch, sends it deep for Pedro, who turns on that gas that we've seen before. Oh, a bit of a wobbly catch, but got it in the end. So that's the break for Discover. The score is now 3-1. A clearly very pumped up Discover team. If they win this game, they are through to semis as first seed in their pool. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%, but they will. If they win this game, they will be 4-1, and the only other team that has the possibility to end 4-1 are Colorado. Doug, do you know this? In the case of a tie, then it's.
Then it goes to goal difference, and then it goes to seeding. I think.
Wait, what about the? So what about the game they played?
Head to head.
Head to head.
Oh, maybe it goes like that.
I think head to head is first. I think you look at head to head. Doug doesn't know either.
I know what happened in the Open Division, I think.
Ah, yeah. I think I've heard rumors that it's head to head first here in the mixed division, but we'll see. The important thing for Discovery is to win this game. If they do, they are secured a spot as either 1 or 2. Here, as the disc by Santomir sails out, they and Maultaschen choose to brick it. Guys, where will you be after this game?
We are the 5 to 8 bracket.
Pardon me?
We're in the 5 to 8 bracket.
Where are you? Where are you? This bit. All right, I'll come say hi. Oh, Johnny here, close to getting the D. That's my team, the black one. Yeah.
Have you met Corian and Tuppers yet?
No, because I don't live in Portugal any longer. But I know that they're there. Like they've played with us in Spain.
And Pedro, shout out to Pedro.
Vargas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Chevy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Chevy legend. Yeah, he's not with us today because he's obviously mostly involved in Beach Ultimate.
Yes.
So that's what they prioritize. Yeah. But yeah, here Maultaschen really need to hold. They've moved this nicely down to the Discover end zone. Quite an easy score. I'll catch you guys later. See you later, Mowgli. Nice break that sets up the easy sort of continuation pass. The score is 2-3. The scoreboard says 3-all. That's I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Yeah, I think it's getting fixed now. It should be 3-2 Discover. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the scoreboard right now. But it should be 3-2 to Discover. They are up 1 break. With the Discover offense coming back on the pitch. Yeah, so the Maultaschen, it's 3-2, right? Yeah, it's just the scoreboard says 1. I think the wind is playing up with the scoreboard because yeah, it's 3-2 to Discover right now as Dimitri catches disc. Forwards to Patrao, to Nico. Pedro is cutting deep. Again, we here see the Maultaschen zone, which Discover has not had too much trouble sort of breaking down. There's a call on the pitch. I can't see what the call is, but they throw 3-girl zone. With the aim, I think, to try and simply slow down some of the Discover pace. Discover have previously relied a lot on their handlers, so we'll see. But Discover also shown that they're not scared, so they have the patience just to move it. And if they have to dump and swing the whole game, they'll do just like the whole point. Then they can do it. It's no problem. There's no sort of there's no pressure on the dump, so as Nico moves into the dump, there's no pressure to the dump, so they always have the reset option. So there's loads of time sort of to talk, for the handlers to tell the cutters where they want them. Because again, here we see easy dumping if they want, and they can sort of just direct their cutters any way they would like. Here, as they try and put a bit of pressure on the dump, they go for the swing. Oh! Pachado with an uncharacteristic fast sort of release. Nico was not ready for it, was actually moving in the other direction. So now Maultaschen have a chance to break, to get their break back, roughly on the halfway line at the pitch. Pachado with the strong force. Oh, here we see again the throw into the wind. It doesn't sail much. Ooh. She got a disc, a nice read on the disc, but then unfortunately just simply threw it in. I think she didn't see Nico coming across the pitch, and he was able to intercept it for an easy turn. Here, let's see if the Discover handlers can move it a bit. Like, they are trying to communicate a lot with their cutters. I think here, Discover now turns it over on the edge. Should be an easy score for Maultaschen, and it is. Maultaschen break. The score is now 3-all, 1 break apiece. And Discover can't really be happy with how that offensive play point went. The cutters seemed not really to understand their role in breaking down the zone. It looked like the handlers felt a bit frustrated. They played 3 against 7. So they will have some talking, some experience on the sideline in how you beat the zone in this particular zone. But I'm confident that with a more experienced lineup that Discover sometimes can put on, that they can sort that out. Right now it's 3-all, close game, but not the cleanest so far. We've seen a lot of turns, and yeah, let's see. Maultaschen will pull to Discover, who will have looks like they'll have a handless set of Inez, Patrao, and João. Oh no, Johnny will stay back and handle. Let's see if they throw the zone again. They do. So Maultaschen throw the zone again, but this is a more experienced sort of lineup from Discover. So let's see if they are able to break down the zone. Here, they're certainly getting more players involved already. It's not just the three handlers moving. Ooh, here Johnny getting trapped by the wing, who comes up nicely to get the D on Patrol. Discover will now be on D. I'm playing a straight up man D. As Joao gets broken for an easy catch for the Maultaschen cutter. Yeah, and Nico calls the timeout. Wise choice, I think. Discover have not been able to move the disc against the Maultaschen zone, and they really need sort of to have a conversation about how you achieve that, because it's really not like they've not been able to really. Quite surprising, I'd say. They've not struggled against zone previously. This is and the Maultaschen zone is, so what might be confusing them about the Maultaschen zone is that it's a 3-girl cup, and that means that the higher discs that we've sometimes seen over the top are not as much as an option, due to the height that some of the guys have on the wings. But if it was me, I would probably say that you need the cutters to stretch the field and widen it, so you have basically what you want is that you have the handlers to have a bigger space to play in. So because right now the cutters are not stretching the field enough, and they're not widening the field, which means that the Discovers play actually more or less only just play on 1 or 2/3 of the pitch, and then the zone gets really effective. So they need to widen and stretch the field, so the handlers can do their work. Maultaschen in the hand now, up a break, 4-3. Discover will receive this, the chance to equal, but yeah, Maultaschen will have the disc after the half. So I expect Maultaschen to throw the zone again, but I will say also I expect the Discover to be willing and to be able to outrun the zone. I feel like the Discover handlers have been patient, but then like for the first couple of minutes, but then they get frustrated with the lack of cuts, and they have not shown any willingness to simply outrun the zone. It could be fatigue, or it could be an idea of how you break down the zone. But no matter, I think now I expect to see the Discover handler set to really be willing to outrun this Maultaschen zone that it looks like they're throwing again. They've got a back line of four very experienced players: Nico, Patrao, and Ines and Johnny. And we here see how Erik and Lydia are widening the pitch, and immediately as the handlers move more, because they have more space to play in, the Discover are able to really sort of move the disc against the zone a lot better. Here Ines gets space in the middle, and yeah, a nice score for Lydia. Here we saw Discover make the adjustments I was talking about. You see Erik lining up on the far side of the pitch, and Lydia lining up on the closer side of the pitch, and that forces the wings to play a little bit more honest, and that also allows for an easier continuation once you sort of swing the disc around, and then the wing will commit, and when the wing commits you can throw it on the inside, which we saw to Ines, and sort of when you get the inside in a power position for a cutter, that's where the zone really breaks down. So a nice demonstration from Discover that they are able to beat the zone quite handedly once you sort of get the schematics right. The score is 4-all. Maultaschen to receive. They are up 1 break. As we see the Discover defensive line go on. I'm just gonna try and ask how many players there are on Maultaschen. They don't look like it's a large team either. Maybe guess 14, 15. So not a large squad either. But once one of them passes, I'll try and flag them down and ask. Maybe also get a little bit of history of how about that squad. It was a nice pull here. Discover running down the field in a In a man defense, Maultaschen sets up in a horror stack with a 3-handler set. They're really committed to throwing off the open side as Ines makes her way to the disc. But here, and the hammer goes up. Really beautiful hammer. Excuse me, sorry. How many players on your team?
We're playing with 15 players.
15 players. Okay.
And one is half playing.
Okay.
So 14 and a half.
So yeah, the Maultaschen team, I was just informed, are playing with technically 15, but one is only half playing. I assume it's due to an injury. So this, he says, the Maultaschen players at 14 and a half players. They score with their score of 13, similar. And to give a little bit of context, that both teams sort of got blown out yesterday in the final game, like in the third game. I didn't see the Maultaschen game, but the Discover game was clearly because due to fatigue, and the players expressed the same thing. This is only game 2 of the day, so both teams should have enough left in the tank. But for the third game, this will really affect sort of small squads like these that you can't sort of. Like, you play a lot of points doing a 3-day tournament like this. So we'll see how if it creeps in the second half. We saw this a bit in the Discover's first game as Maultaschen here pulls. They're up 5-4 and up 1 break. Nico here catches the low pull. Sorry. Maultaschen again throwing the 3-girl cup, and we'll see now if Discover are able to beat Lydia here. Nice swinging. Basically, again, they're widening the Discover widening the pitcher. This making the zone run far more than it did earlier. Yeah, with the nice wide throws. If Eric had been there a little earlier, that would have been that inside break I was talking about earlier. But right now, Lydia and Nico just working the zone. Maria giving Nico the option, looking for the swing to Johnny. He's back. And here's that inside break where you can really hurt the zone, but Eric sort of just dumps it off. The disc floats over Maria, but Johnny's there for backup. Johnny now back on disc to Nico, to Lydia, back to Nico, and Discover now moved the disc sort of to halfway point, which makes the deep throw far more sort of threatening. And Johnny does throw the hammer to Pedro. That's a beautiful execution by Johnny over the top. It's hard to throw the cup is designed to stop the long throw as well, but over the top, of course, when it's possible, is due. So the score is 5-all. Maultaschen with 1 break though. So again, Discover beating the zone quite comfortably. They weren't under too much pressure doing that, and you can really see how it's easier to break down the zone once they move from sideline to sideline. You basically, I've played in the zone a lot, and as the cup, you get tired. Doing a point, you get tired, and when you are then like a half a step or 1 step behind, then it's a lot easier for the continuation cuts to break, and that's what we saw here when they moved out to halfway. And sort of when you're at the halfway line, a bit further maybe, the end zone throws are a lot more dangerous because, well, basically the deep will have less time to sort of to cover that area and to make up for lost ground. And that's what we saw here. Like, well, now score is 5-all. Petrao to pull. That lefty pull it looks like it's gonna just sail out, and it does. I didn't see if Maultaschen indicated something, but he's walking towards the brick line, so he'll break it. Discover not yet throwing their zone, either the wall or the cup, but they're playing straight hard man up against the poach here. A floaty pass. Petrao and 52 fighting towards the disc. Despite the height advantage, Petrao boxes him out. That, for those of you who are not so familiar with the term, to box someone out means that you are staying in your running lane, not allowing either the offensive or defensive player sort of run into that running lane, because you are entitled to be where you are. So you're sort of using the fact that you have your body where it is to make sure that the other guy can't run through you, and that's legal in Ultimate. It's obviously walking a fine line for against contact, but since you are not the one initiating contact, that's how it is. Okay, and we have Discover now on offense, chance to get their break back. They're not playing against Stone, they're playing against straight man D, with Dimitri dumping it off to Nico. Dimitri Nico calling a foul, but is play on. Nines on disc, swings it to Nico, who looks for Justina, dumps off to Patrao. Patrao, calmly serving the field. Nico is going for the poach. Horses it. Looks at Marta, looks rough. Sees Inez. Dumps it off to Inez just for the short reset. Swings to Nico. Swings to Marta. Swings to Dimitri. Breaks. Patrao catches just at the edge of the end zone. Beautiful catch by Patrao. Looking for Inez and for the Discover break. That is beautiful, beautiful stuff by Discover. Playing the open side, and then classic Ultimate. Pardon me?
Repeat the score.
Yeah, classic Ultimate. They swing, and then they cut, and they break on the break side. Classic Ultimate. The score is now 5-6 for Discover, with Maultaschen to be on offense. So it's an even game so far. 2 breaks apiece. As we see the Maultaschen player in a discussion, I won't say an argument because I can't hear what they're saying, in a conversation with the Discover captain Nico. I'm not sure what that is about, but yeah. Well, so we'll now see the Maultaschen O-line, see if they can convert. They were broken just before on what looked like a good hook, but Patrao was really able to use his speed and experience to come down with the disc, or at least make sure that the offensive player didn't come down with it. It's yet another close game for Discover. They've been in most of the tournament, and yeah. Inez to pull, and we'll see what Discover does. Will they come out? It's a nice pull by Inez. It sails just towards the break mark. Again, Discover here in their man defense against the Maultaschen horror stack. Yeah, the Maultaschen handlers have not liked to throw it deep, but not afraid either to just to work it calmly. Here, nice cut. Johnny on number 27 on disc. He's looking for the upline. Again, Maultaschen simply just ramming upline now. They've gone out of their horror stack into a vert stack, which is pretty common when you are this close to the end zone. The horror stack, with all its advantages in open space, is pretty atrocious to play in the end zone. All here with some nice swinging. Don't manage to get off the break as we saw just before. Discover playing some nice end zone defense, really protecting that open side. As I say that, the caster curse hits again, and Patrao is beaten to the open line by a very nice cut from the Maultaschen offensive player. The score is 6-all now. 2 breaks apiece. Discover has taken one of their 2 timeouts. You have 2 timeouts per half. And we'll now see the Discover offensive line on the pitch. It's a completely even game. So we will see. We'll see how it goes. Maultaschen clearly the taller team. I think, generally speaking, the Discover team is one of the shorter teams at this tournament in the mixed division. None of the guys really tall. Lydia bringing some nice height on the girls' side, but yeah, So generally not the tallest team, where we see the height from Maultaschen really should make a difference in duels where it comes to just going up and getting it. We see now Nico on disc with Lydia. Maultaschen throwing the 3-goal cup again. So we'll see if Discover can continue their. Nice break. Nice, just finding the soft spot in the zone for Justina, who makes the catch. And now here, and like that, Discover have moved the disc to the about the halfway point, and calmly moving it through the 3 handlers. Johnny, and who throws a hammer to Lydia. Call on the field. I think Lydia feels that she was bumped by the Maultaschen player. That's it did look a bit weird, the way that they came into each other. That it's hard for me to tell. But my guess is that Lydia is saying that she was bumped by him when she was trying to make her catch. Obviously I cannot hear it. Lydia has the upside of being German, so where we sometimes see the language barrier get in the way. The normal language you communicate in is English, but not everyone sort of has a proficiency of English where, like, okay, contested foul. That's an awful throw. I was meant to go to Johnny. Contested foul means that this goes back to thrower. To be honest, I think that was not the greatest decision by Johnny anyway. Discover can be pretty pleased with getting the disc back here at this line. Oh, another violation. I'm unsure what it was. I'm not really sure what the violation was, but this goes back to Johnny again. We'll probably see him do the same thing as before. Swing to Maria, swing to Nico. Nico who looks for the in-cut. Maria drops it. She took her eye off the disc. That's that's textbook. You want to sort of scan the field, see where you pass next, but you really need to keep your eyes on the disc until you catch it. Like, we've all done it, we all know it, and still everyone still sometimes does it. Here Dimitri's beaten on the open side. Justina as well. They are Maultaschen ramming up the open side. Oh, yeah, and she's called in. Beautiful play by Maultaschen. As they break Discover now up 7-6. So Maultaschen up 1 break against Discover. Discover again sort of, I wouldn't say had a hard time against zone, because this was just sort of a drop of the disc, not an inability to move the disc. But we did see that quite risky hammer from Johnny into the wind. Like, the hammer is not a bad choice in this situation, but with the wind being as it is, when we saw it as well, the hammer sort of stood still, and that allowed the deep to recover the space and really make up the ground. We now see the Maultaschen D against the Discover O line. The score is 7-6. Maultaschen up 1 break. As they are getting ready to pull, I wonder if we'll see that 3-goal zone again. Why not? They did generate a turn from it last time. I think the Discover team should sort of anticipate it. There's that zone, and yeah, here it looks like here we see it again, the 3-goal cup. But here Marta with the bad decision, simply throwing it to where the wing was. I don't know if she didn't see the wing, or if she simply just thought that she could throw it past him, like faster. Here with a nice break. So the Maultaschen now have an opportunity to take half here with a double break. A pick was called here. Not on the thrower, I think, but on one of the other cutters. Here there's a discussion, I think, on the pick. I think it's about how fast he's allowed to catch up. With the pick, you're sort of allowed to catch up the lost distance. I didn't see where sort of the pick occurred, so I can't really say. Number 24 from Maultaschen seems to be arguing. I would assume that she didn't catch up. She's trying to gain too much ground. But yeah, so that seems to be the call, that Marta shouldn't catch up as much as she did. Here we see the Maultaschen O. Defense trying to move it up. On the sideline, we have them on the sideline now, trying to punch it in, and they do. So Maultaschen take half, 8-6, and they will start with the point. And they will start with the disc after half. So they have a double break. I'm gonna just wait. Ricardo, can you? Yeah, sorry. I am back. Just heard what they said in the Discover huddle. Basically, they feel like they are the better team, but they are beating themselves. And so now we'll see if they can generate a turn, and if they can generate a turn here on the first point, then it's a one break point game, and no, they wouldn't eat. But if they continue to, with these knucklehead throwaways and these sort of weird drops that we've also seen, then it's going to be difficult to win. So see if they can clean up on O and generate, because they have 2 breaks. 2 breaks and a half is pretty good. If you can then keep, if then your offense can convert, then it's good. But so now they are relying on their defense to really be able to set it. Discover have not seen a lot of horror stack so far, and maybe that is what's been confusing him. they've now moved into their own zone, own cup. And this is the wall defense that we've seen before from Discover, where they're not focused so much on the pressuring the handler as much as taking away his throwing lanes. Because Maultaschen seems to have no problem sort of beating that zone, very patiently moving the disc between them. Oh, and again, the caster curse, just as I say that, number 24 throws it a bit out of reach. Discover is able to generate the turn that they want. Not necessarily from great D, I think that's more of a throwaway than anything else. And Maultaschen set up in that zone, again, that we've seen. Let's see now if Discover can move this. They've got a pretty experienced handler team out there. Nico, Inez, Patrao. And we see Eric and Lydia like widening the pitch. Yeah, and here Lydia gets the disc. Oh, she's too keyed in on getting into Inez. That was a completely free Maria up the line, which really had broken down the zone. But now we see here the Discover handlers being quite happy with sort of moving it amongst themselves at the halfway line. It's just they should swing it, yeah, and they do. Erik here has to go up and get that. Like, he simply doesn't sort of read the disc properly. He needs to go up and attack that disc, otherwise it's gonna sail past him. Here, Maultaschen with the disc. He hosts the hammer. But up on the right here, it's a high disc. Oh, here, and the second defender actually gets in and gets it. Oh, there's a call on the pitch. I think it's just. I think they're just checking if everyone is all right. I think that was actually not the intended receiver who caught it, but I talked about it a little bit earlier. If you throw up some tall junk, Maultaschen does have a lot of height on that team, and should come down with most of it. That was not a great throw in my opinion, but then again, he throws it up. He knows he's got a second man who is really tall who can go get it. Yeah. Discover will now be an O. So Maultaschen hold. Score is 9-6. They are up 2 breaks. Discover will now be an O. They did have a chance to break there. But unfortunately, with the misread of this by Erik, they turn it over. Yeah, so we'll now see the disc over O on the pitch. I assume again we'll see the Maultaschen zone. They've been pretty successful with it, as Maultaschen are getting ready to pull. And the pull sails just out. Which is sometimes not too bad, because then you get a chance to set up your zone, so you don't have to, everyone knows where they are. Then again, for Discover, you think that they're quite happy with the yeah. So Nico to Patrao, to Inez, to Patrao, moving up. Patrao looks off Inez, swings it to Nico. To Lydia, to Inez. Inez serving the field, down to Nico, goes to Inez, swings it. Inez to Nico, who swings it to. Woo! That is lucky. Again, you've heard me talk about this in other games as well. That's why you have to catch the Ds. Ooh, Inez with a dangerous swing to Nico, but it works out. Back to Inez, serving the field, looking. Swings it towards Nico, to Patrao. Moves it, back to Nico. Inez to Inez. Swinging past, and there's Pedro. the Discover team a bit more calm now. Inez swings it to Nico. To Patrao, who's just on the edge to the end zone. Dumps it to Inez. Inez directing the stack. Dumps it up to Patrao. Nice patience from the Discover team. Patrao dumps it up to Inez. Who again, Discover having a bit trouble getting this in the end zone. The cutters are very still. It seems like the cutters don't know exactly what they're supposed to do when they sort of get it to the edge of the end zone. They clog the space a lot with the same cutters when they come up against that wall. But the Discover handlers,
Justine, vertical!
Discover handlers are patient. Oh, that's a.
Justine, vertical!
And they're serving the field, looking, dumps it off for Nico. It's a nice patience by the Discover handlers, but also the cutters really do need to help them out. The handlers doing a lot of the running. Again, we've seen this situation before. Dumps it off to Inez. Looking for an option. Dumps to Nico. To Inez. To Patrao. To Lydia. To Inez. To Lydia. To Inez. Really nice defense. They really clunked down here by Maultaschen or Patrao with a nice floaty pass. Oh, over to Inez. Back to Patrao. Swings it for Nico. To Inez. Back to Nico. And the Discover handlers punch it in. Beautiful, beautiful play and patience by Discover handlers. You can really see here the lack of experience in some of the Discover cutters. They seem a bit lost as to what they're supposed to do. What you probably want to do is you want to use the fact that the end zone is so long and go towards the edge of the end zone. So what you see a lot is that the Discover cutters would sort of run to the front cone, whereas if you run to the back cone, you bring your defender with you, and then that makes space for the handler to cut into the front cone. What happened was that the Discover cutters were running to the front cone, and then the handlers have no space to run into, so they have no place to strike. If the Discover cutters run to the back cone, they will either be free or they will draw the defender with them, which is an important thing to know, because otherwise you see that clogging there, as we saw. Yeah, but Discover holds, so the score is 7-9. It's a very long point. As Inez pulls out of bounds, score is 9-7. Maultaschen up 2 breaks. So we'll see if and he's gonna break it. And Maultaschen back in the vertical stack. A bit. I feel like they've had pretty good success with the horror stack. But just wanting to shake things up a little bit. Oh, nice break here on the backhand side. But yeah, dumps it off. Nice continue open side. Oh, I can't see if she got a hand on that Maria, but that is beautiful. I would think she did. So that's a turn from the Discover D line. Now Patrao on disc, and they set up the zone again. So we'll see if Discover can have the same patience as before. A lot of the same players are in the point. We see here Inez and Patrao. Johnny now. Oh, that's a beautiful grab by the lefty there. Patrao. As he looks for Inez. Dumps it off to Johnny. To Marta. to Johnny, to Ines. Ines looking, so wanted to dump it off to Johnny. Maultaschen now back on O. They're going into the vertical stack again. Gets it on the open side. Hammer. Oh, that's overthrown. Again, a bit uncharacteristic by the Maultaschen players. I wonder if fatigue is setting in with them. That's an unnecessary risk to take. Okay, there's very little wind, and you can come down to execution, but they're up 2 breaks. There's no reason why they shouldn't just sort of play it safe. But then again, now they have the disc down here. Oh, that's a nice grab by Maria, who dumps off to Ines, to Frau, to Ines again. Looks off Marta, back to Petrao, who throws to Duarte, a completely open Duarte, off to Pedro. Now Ines with the disc, who's expressing some frustration. I think Ines is saying that that the Maultaschen player keeps bumping her, that when she goes for the disc she keeps running into her as she tries to make a bid for it, which is frustrating, of course. I think this is Ines expressing that frustration, understandably so. Like it's a non-contact sport, and you are not allowed to sort of bump, even though you are going for the disc. So what you should do? Oh, Marta just completely stared her receiver down. You could see that all the way that she was going to throw that. I could see that, the defender could see that, and you saw him react to it straight away. Oh, and a poor throw, but also a poor catch. Like, he should really catch that. I think, again, a bit of fatigue setting in with both teams. You see a lot of unforced errors in this situation. Yeah, dumps it off to Ines, to Maria, trying to calm it down with, to Marta. Oh, looks off Pedro, who was completely open. I think that's maybe the throw before just lingered in her memory a bit. Marta to Johnny. Johnny dumps it off to Marta. Back to Johnny. To Ines. Ines with this. It doesn't appear there's a count on her. To Petrao, who ran into the end zone, hoping to provide like a bigger target, but is now back in the handler set. Petrao to Johnny, to Marta. Nice. Marta to Johnny, who throws it to Pedro. That's the pass we were looking for, and Pedro goes up and gets it. Beautiful play by Discover. That's sort of the throw that we were looking for Marta a few times, but I think to be honest, I think the picks he threw before sort of threw off a little bit, because Pedro was open quite a few times down that end zone. But a beautiful throw by Johnny, and Discover break. Score is 9-8, Maultaschen. They are still up 1 break, so it's still their game, but Discover has now broken them once here in the second half. Both teams look tired, I won't lie. Both teams look tired, and I think that's why we see some of these throwaways, some of these drops. I mentioned at the beginning of this game, Discover have a squad of 13. Maultaschen have a squad of 14.5, as they said themselves. Small squads for a big competitive tournament. I know Maultaschen have also played some really close games. I think on day 1 they lost two of the games they lost were by 1 point or something. Is that correct? 2 of the games you lost on day 1 was 1 point? But 2 very close games. The first 2 games you played?
We had 3 close games and 1 not close game.
Yeah. So both teams have played 3 very, very close games and 1 not so close game. And here Oh, Maultaschen here with a nice throw. To be honest, the disc could obviously have been a bit flatter because she had beaten her mark, but the receiver should also get that. It's a misread on the disc. She made the classic error of running towards where the disc was rather than running towards where the disc is going, and in the end she just didn't have time to correct it. We see the Maultaschen girls setting up their zone. We've got a handler set of Inez, Nico, Johnny and Lydia, with the cutoff of Justina, Pedro and Erik. Nico's sort of playing the mid, but let's see if they can move the disc off the end zone line.
Run! Keep running!
Inez calmly to Nico.
Keep running! Stay there!
Nico dumps off to Inez, to Johnny, off to Pedro. Pedro throws it deep to Erik, who goes up and gets it. Just on the edge of the end zone. You can hear the team shouting, easy, easy. He called, and really like a veteran calls the timeout. He's not really sure what to do, and he's afraid to throw it away. We've seen it many times. Great catch followed by a terrible throw. So nice by Erik. Goes up, gets a disc, and then adrenaline's running. He wants to throw to Pedro, of course we know, but then can't really see an open dump, so it calls timeout. Wise choice. Timeouts are there for them to be used, so you get it at the edge of the end zone, and if this go over break now, we have an even game, and we'll be 9-all. So yeah, timeout now. What you usually see in this situation is where you have the 7 players on the pitch will decide a specific play they would like to run. So an end zone play that's designed for a 1-2 pass score. And if they don't get the look they want, they'll most likely try and dump and swing in and then punch it into the end zone. So yeah, Maultaschen. They'll be gutting themselves. They had a chance, as I mentioned earlier. They had a chance really to get up 10-8. It was a misread that led to a drop by the Maultaschen receiver, and now their zone was broken. And yeah, Discover have a chance to bring it to an even game at 9-all. Really close fought this game. Both teams are tired, it's clear to see, but both teams also won it, and it's really nice to see a team like Maultaschen, who have no chance of reaching the semis, really sort of going out there and giving it their all. Like props to them for that. Other teams who have said, okay, we can't reach semis, we don't really care so much of how we play, we'll just sort of play and try and have a little bit of fun. Maultaschen, no, they go out and give it their all. They run hard, they play hard, and they play to win, and that's beautiful to see. Yeah, we see here Petrao giving Erik some instructions. My guess would be that they are trying a dump swing play and then to punch it on the breaks. Yeah. Okay, the stall. Yeah, the stall is at 7. They're telling me. So either they probably. My guess is that they're gonna try and dump it. And then swing it. Basically, when you have a stall 7, you don't have a lot of time to sort of look for it. But Inez, experienced cutter, sort of handler, my guess would be she's telling Erik, if my mark is overcommitting on the dump, I'm busting up the line and we score. That's my guess. So we'll see now. The Discover players have lined up, and we're now seeing how the Maultaschen players are going to line up. They are. I can't really tell if they're sticking to their zone or if they are. Yes, they are sticking to a type of zone. So it's not straight up marking. They're sticking to a zone, but they have now put someone on the mark. So yeah, my guess is that Erik will dump it off and they'll try and punch it into the end zone. Yeah, and looks for Nico, gets it. Nico gets it to Pedro, who for a nice easy score. The game is now tied 9-all. 9-all. Yeah, that's another break for Discover. The game is tied at 9-all. Both teams, like you see here, the Maultaschen team walking back to the end zone, clearly tired. Discover team doing the same thing when they are on. So yeah, two tired teams, but yeah. We'll see how if Maultaschen will stay with their zone. It was very effective in the first half, but here in the second half, even though that when it's picked up a little bit. Wait, 1 sec.
Duan! Schwau!
Ah, come on.
Duan!
Oh.
I was trying to get a hold of the guy who whose phone it is, but never mind. Okay, here we go. Patrao with the disc, ready to pull. The score is 9-all. Game to 15, and here we go. The Maultaschen O will start with a yeah. So they go back to the horror stack we've seen before. Looks very deep. Looks him off. They really want that deep option. Which is also something the horror stack really gives you. It gives you the, like, if run one properly, the horror stack really sort of gives you both deep and under all the time. Here the handlers just ram it off the line. Nice shutdown here by Johnny. Foul called. I can't see if it's contested or not. Uncontested foul, so the stall reset at 0. And Maultaschen again still trying to sort of jam it up the line. And here now they swing it. The Discover team really sort of trying to cram down on that open side. Oh, and here we see the number 7 with the disc. He wants that open side. Up. Oh, what on earth happened there? It looked like the receiver had his mark beaten. Like, it looked like Patrao was trailing, and it looked like it was just a bad throw. Just looked like a bad throw, to be honest. Maultaschen now again setting up in their zone. It's not a 3-go cup anymore. Because they've okay, now it is. They've there was a guy on the count, but and this goes up. Ines calls a strip. A strip is that the offensive player says that they have the disc, and then it's ripped out of their hands by the defensive player. In the event that both players have the disc at the same time, the offensive player will get the disc. 1 sec. I'll be right back. Okay. Contested foul. Well, contested strip. It's hard to see without replay, so and we obviously, so you guys at home can actually see it better than I can. From my view, it looked like that Ines did have 2 fingers on it and control of a non-spinning, non-moving disc, but we'll see. Nico then, unfortunately for Discover, throws it away, meant for Pachar, but overthrown, had too much curve on it, and just sort of dumped in. Now Maultaschen with disc on the edge of the zone, hammer. Oh, and it's dropped. That is absolutely crazy. Doesn't go for the intended receiver, can't get to it. Then the backup is there, beautiful backup play, but then it's just a drop. It's a terrible drop. Discover now working against that zone. Dimitri not getting this. Yeah. So now Maultaschen back on O. Again, just like the last point, we see here's a lot of errors from both teams, and it free. Wait. I think.
2 hours ago. Sorry. We were discussing I wasn't part of the game anymore.
Guys, but doesn't interfere in the game.
It does, because I didn't play anymore.
Yeah, but they are playing over here. Doesn't matter.
That's my thought. It was...
So there's a discussion now on the pitch whether or not. So number 17 stopped discussing. And they were discussing whether or not it affected play. The Discover team saying that it didn't really affect play. The Maultaschen players saying that it did. My view on this is that. So now the players will set again. I think it was that he took it in on the wrong side. My view on this is that I don't think that the players who played the game saw the disc, saw the call and heard it, and was that way affected. But that being said, the number 17 Stefan, as his name is, wasn't playing, so he could have come in as a dump or as a swing. So in that way, you can say that it affected game. Now we're back, and oh yeah, and he throws a interception to Nico. Dimitri dumps it off to Ines. Oh, the wind has just picked up. Throws it to Nico. Scoopers it to Patral. Patral expressing his frustration to Joanna, who's not looking. He wants her to look so he can throw to her. There's no point. Patral is right. You don't throw to a receiver who's not looking at you, because she will not know this going up. Ines now with Johnny, Nico at the edge of the end zone. Patral is moving towards the end. Johnny with disc. Nico to Johnny to Dimitri. Oh, Maria was wide open on that. To Ines. No Discover players really in the end zone. They Pachal just on the edge there on the side. Yeah, and Ines running towards that back end zone that but opens up space for Nico, who has a completely open Maria on the other side. But Pachal throws with a nice easy score for Dimitri. So Discover are actually up 10-9 now. So they break for the second time now and are actually up 10-9. That is absolutely incredible, mentality from this team, who were down 2 breaks. Obviously also on the back of some Maultaschen errors that I'm pretty sure we could put down to fatigue. We've seen some throwaways, some drops. But yeah, the score is now 10-9 Discover. Maultaschen will get the disc in a moment. That is really, really good. We saw also in regionals this team being down often, 2-3 points towards the end of the game, and managed to come back, both in the quarter and the semi-final. So we know they are a strong-minded team. So right now it's just sort of, what do they have left in the tank? Like, how long can they keep playing? They are obviously again helped by the Maultaschen team, who are also tired. So yeah, Score is 10-9 Discover and Patrao to pull. The wind has picked up. I don't know if you can sort of see it in the trees in the back. The wind certainly has picked up. That should benefit zone play. Oh, here. Again with another Maultaschen sort of throwaway. Someone got, I didn't see, I think it was Eric who got a hand on it. A Maultaschen player did in the end have a bit on the disc, but he should never sort of, that's not his fault. Here, Discover in a two-handler set against the man defense. Patrao and Johnny in a vertical stack. Patrao calm on the disc. Dumps it off for Johnny. Throws it to Maria. Maria looks for the continuation. Dumps it to Patrao. Swings it for Johnny. He should have a continuation there. Justina gets it. Throws it to Lydia. To Patrao. Discover moving the disc easier against this man defense than they have against the zone. And Johnny with the inside flick break to Pedro. That's absolutely beautiful, clinical play by Discover. The score is now 11-9. Discover up by a break, plus they are on serve. When I say they are on serve, it means that it's game to 15. So in the event that a game goes, that Discover is broken once, and the teams then continue to trade offensive points, the score would actually still end up winning the game. I discussed this earlier, how that can be difficult, can be a bit unfortunate with more wind, but in this case Discover is up by a break. But again, off a uncharacteristic sort of sloppy throw by the Maultaschen handler set. We've seen a lot of this in the second half. You have to expect that. You have to think that comes down to fatigue. So Discover being slow to the line here. That is making substitutions. Maultaschen players have been on the line for a while, and we hear the whistle now again. So Discover really need to hurry up. It's not great spirit that when you are ahead that you take too much time, and the Maultaschen players have been on the line for a while now waiting. So yeah, but we are getting ready now for Ines to put the disc into play. I wonder if Disco will throw the zone, or if they stick to man deal. So and here they stick to man. Maultaschen looking long. Yeah, with a three-handler set with two girls. Oh, and again a drop by the Maultaschen players. Like, this has sort of been the story for them in the second half. It's okay, it's a high throw, but still, it's certainly a catchable throw. Here, the Maultaschen zone, they're still playing the zone, but the girls seem to be tired, and the Discover handler set can sort of easier move them around. With the Nico with a nice give to Ines, gives it back to Nico, gives it to Marta, to Nico, to Duartex, back to Nico, to Marta. Travel called. Travel called on Santa Maria, taps it in, throws it to Pedro, who catches just outside the end zone. Pedro's looking for the dump to Inez. Calm on the end zone. Nico to Marta, to Duartex, who catches just at the edge. Beautiful, beautiful offensive play here again by Discover. They really seem to have worked out the zone. Plus, it's quite clear that the girls running in the zone are getting tired. You can see they're not as fast as set. Sort of come into the passing lanes. It's now 12-9. Wait, no, it should be 12-9. Discover. Yeah, they're fixing it now. And Maultaschen called the timeout. Wise decision, I think. They've really given a lot of breaks in this game, and sort of their handlers and their cutters making mistakes they didn't do in this first half. I know that this so in this situation the timeout can just be used sort of to catch your breath, tell everyone to calm down. I'm still unsure why they haven't corrected. It should be 9-12. Okay, here we go. They seem to be correcting the score now. Yeah, so it's 9-12, game to 15. Discover will pull to Maultaschen. So to recap the group, Discover are 3-1. Like, so 3 wins, 1 loss. Colorado are 3-1 as well. 3 wins and 1 loss, and that loss being to Discover. Maultaschen are 1-3. Rebel Ultimate and Leftover, who beat Discover handedly yesterday in the final game, are both 2-2. So if Discover win this game, they should be guaranteed a spot in the semi-final. I'm unsure whether or not how ties are decided. My guess is that it's head-to-head and then point difference, but I'm not actually sure. If it's head-to-head, then they will go through as if they win. Obviously, they will go through as the number 1 seed, and if it's point difference, last time I checked, Colorado was way ahead of Discover in that area. So I think, but I'm not sure what the rules are. But right now, in the Discover huddle, I think what they're talking about is, hey guys, we're up 2 breaks. If we score 3 points on offense, we're through. Like, they have generated the turns they needed here in the second half, plenty of them. Some of it due to really good play, and some of it due to Maultaschen errors. It's quite simply, Maultaschen have played. Like, there have been too many errors, too many drops in the end zone and throwaways, and Discover have cleaned up their offense, which and that was sort of the story for their offense in the first half, that they threw it away too much. But yeah, we see here the Maultaschen players have lined up. Discover players are yet to line up. And we'll see now if is this time out sort of have benefited the Maultaschen players, because they have been throwing it away the last couple of points. So what you're looking for Maultaschen is that, like, a clean, easy hold, sort of to get back in the game. If they are broken now, like, and they go down 9-13, I have a hard time seeing them making a comeback. But with a nice, clean, fast hold, they're within 2, and it's still anyone's game. Yep, the Discover team is getting ready to pull. We see a tall Maultaschen lineup. Well, generally the team is pretty tall, not gonna lie. So yeah, I would also maybe say, okay, you can huck it, but okay. So here we see Maultaschen playing nice offensive ultimate up the line here. They are just jamming it up the line. Oh, is that gonna sail up? No, that's beautiful offensive play by Maultaschen. This Discover just basically getting beaten to the line on every pass. Beautiful offensive play. You take the open side, it's on, and then just ram it up the line. Yeah, so it's 10-12. Close game. Game to 15. Discover up by 2 breaks, and we'll start with this in a minute. The Maultaschen players are getting ready to set the line. Discover also almost on the line. Yeah. I can't. They were just indicating how much time left. I didn't actually see. But yeah, Discover calling the line. Maultaschen ready to pull. And yeah, here we go. Let's see if Discover can hold. If they do, they are 1 point closer to. I think that's an error. It's It's not 11-12. It's 10-12. It's 10-12. Yes. It should be 10-12.
Or maybe they did a mistake before. I don't know.
I don't think so. It should be.
Yes, we have the time out with 9 from.
Yeah, it should be. It should be 10-12.
Because it was at like 9:13, so I think I have no idea what this scorekeeper is doing.
No, but this is wrong because Discover up by 2 breaks. But it could just be the fault. I'm just having a conversation with some of the Maultaschen players about the score. They seem to be confused about it as well.
Definitely not following as close.
Generally speaking, I have to say the scorekeepers are not very sort of attentive to the game. We've had to correct them on numerous occasions. Here the Discover players moving the disc up nicely in the wind. Swinging. They're playing against a Mandy, somebody they seem more comfortable with than the zone. And Pedro goes up, climbs the ladder, high pass from Inez, and gets it. Beautiful stuff. 12. So it's now 13-10 for Discover. Okay, now they have corrected it on the scoreboard, so it's 10-13 Discover with a clean hold. Discover have not really seemed to be in trouble when once they when they play against Maultaschen's Man D. Like I don't seem to recall them sort of being broken when they play against the Man D. It was really against the zone they had to figure out. But against straight up Man D, they just appear to be better throwers and faster cutters. Not really having a difficult time with it, being able to break on the short, medium passes, which makes continuation a lot easier. So Discover to pull. Score is 10-13, game to 15. Do you know how much time is left? No. No, not much time is left. So we'll see if we get a game to 15. So if Discover gets another point, it will be a game to 15 no matter what, obviously. But yeah, so we'll see. So now, Discover in their zone defense. Pretty good idea, I feel like, in this situation. It's quite windy, and Maultaschen players have not really shown that they are comfortable throwing into the wind. So yeah, makes sense if they feel like they have the legs for it. So yeah, that's the whistle. 5 minutes left. Maultaschen though working it up nicely against the zone. We've got a zone here of Erik, Justina, and Pedro. So Maultaschen working it nicely here against the zone. Patient with the handlers and the cutters. And as Discover now switched to man defense. And a nice deep cut with a nice put for the Maultaschen receiver. I think it's number 23. I am not sure, but I think it's number 23. And the game is now 11-13. 11-13 Discover. Maultaschen have held twice now, very cleanly. They've not really been troubled by either the Discover man defense or the zone as Discover tried now. And have sort of, after the timeout, sort of refound their groove. But unfortunately for them, they did have a lot of turns before the timeout, which has resulted in this 2-point lead for Discover. Discover now calling the timeout. I think simply just sort of to, I think Nico, the captain Nico will say, simply just sort of to calm his team down, tell them, guys, we got this, we just need to score twice on offense, and then that's it. In this situation, you are thinking about your offensive points. You know, if you trade 2 offensive points, you're okay. With a small squad like the one Discover has, and Maultaschen for that matter, you're looking at it and saying, well, do I play my heart out on defense and then sort of have nothing left to give on offense? No. I played defense, I played nice, I played honest, but no. my resources are for the offense, because if I hold twice, then I win. And obviously, that's sort of a very tactical way of viewing the game, but with a small squad, that's sometimes necessary to make these sort of in-game sort of calculations, saying, okay, what do we need to do? We need to hold twice. That's the aim of the game right now for Discover. Hold on offense on 2 opportunities, and then convert. Yeah, we hear the whistle. Timeout's over. Maultaschen and Discover making it to the line. The score is 11-13. Maultaschen will be pulling to Discover, who will start on offense. You see a line of Joanna, Patrao, Maria, Inez, Johnny, Pedro, and Lydia. So a 4-girl lineup. A wise choice, I feel like. The Maultaschen girls have been running the zone all game. They are tired. We've seen this. So a wise choice by Discover to play 4 girls. They should match up nicely against the Maultaschen girls, and should be able to outrun them. It's zone is good and zone is fun to play, but it's bloody hard when you are in the wall. Yeah, and here the Maultaschen pull is up, and just around the break mark, Ines to pick up to Johnny, and we see the zone again. Patrao directing his teammates, dumps it off to Johnny, who's then again bumped a little bit by the Maultaschen player. She tries to get the D. That's the sort of thing that Ines was complaining about earlier, is that when you sort of try and get D, you get these bumps, and that's quite unfortunate. Maria to Patrao. Looks back to Maria, who makes a drop. That's what happens in a game. So Maultaschen now has a chance to break here in. Oh, nice up the line throw to his handler. It's got it. I don't know. Pedro beats the line. Nice swing, but no continuation on the break side. Patrao setting the mark. Oh, and Maultaschen punch it in with a completely open thrower. I'm not really sure what happened there in the communication. The score is now 12-13. The score will start on disc. Close game of 12-13. The game is to 15, but I don't know how much time's left. We might end up with a cap of possibly 14. Who knows? Obviously, if Discover scores, the cap will be at 15 anyway. But if Maultaschen are able to break, we'll probably see a cap of 14 and Universe point. Yeah. Yeah, we see Discover team with Maria, Lydia, Inez, Pedro, Johnny, Nico, and Patrao, ready to go on offense. Patrao catches it, throws it to Nico, and we see the Maultaschen zone again. Johnny sends it deep to Lydia, who is completely free in the end zone with a nice catch. That was complete. I am absolutely certain that was called on the line, saying, actually, Lydia, just run past him. He won't follow you deep. And then the completely open Johnny throws a beautiful hug to Lydia. The game is now 12-14. Game is now 12-14. So it's going to be a game to 15. No matter what. For Discover, this means they are 1 point away from a semi-final place, which would be a huge step for this club. So give a little context. So back the way that you qualified for European Championships is that you go through the national championships and then a regional qualifier. 2 years ago, Discover didn't qualify through the national championship. last year they did, and then when they went to the regional qualifier, they finished dead last. I think they got maximum 7 points in the Southern Region qualifier in Versailles last year. Something like that. They were absolutely destroyed. And this year they won the regional qualifier held in Lisbon, so held on home field. And then to go from being absolute last team in the regional qualifier last year to a semi-final place this year in the European Championships would be so great for this team. They're throwing the zone. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, the Maultaschen players looking at moving. They were moving it calmly, but they've also got Nico also plays the mark a bit more aggressive than Johnny did. Now Discover transitioning to man. The call was made on the pitch. I don't know if you heard, but they are transitioning to man. Straight up hardcore defending of the open side, because you don't want to you want these Maultaschen players to throw into the wind. What? I don't think that was actually a call. I think they're just sort of confused by the players themselves. Oh, here, and you get it into the wind. Oh, Maria almost gets it, but the Maultaschen player, nice read by her. And here they continue on the break side, and this is Lydia nicely covers the break side, and as she moves into her count, standard sort of protect the break side as the mark. That's your first job. Oh, a nice break. Nico laying up, almost getting. Oh, and a throwaway by the handler. Showing his clear frustration, but no receiver was in the area, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure what he's frustrated with, because as a handler, your responsibility is to protect the disc, and if you don't have eye contact with one of your receivers, or if you don't know where they're going, if you just think that they're running there, it's not really their fault that they're not. Unless there's something you really. Oh, Inez with the emergency hammer into the wind. Number 52 makes up for his throwaway by getting the D. So now we'll see. So Maultaschen again. Oh no, trying to punch it into the Discover end zone, but holding up. Discover holding up nicely, protecting that open side. Oh, as I say that, Duarte gives up the open side. Again, cast a curse. We know it. Cast a curse. Game is now. I don't know what's going on with the scoreboard. The game is now 13-14. Discover they will have 2 chances on offense to finish this game. So it's important to remember that this is actually a Maultaschen offensive point. So this was a hold for their side, and we now see the Discover. We will now see the Discover offensive line try and calmly punch it in. I wonder if the Maultaschen players are willing to run that zone again. They got destroyed on the last point. Discover read them beautifully. So we'll see. But then again, as I mentioned, they haven't been successful with their man marking. So if I were them, probably run the zone. Tell the deep, you gotta respect when someone comes sprinting past you that they will throw it, and then just accept that soft spot, sort of that mid-range soft spot is there if Discover is able to take advantage of it, because you can't get beaten deep like that in a zone. That destroys it. Then it's just too easy to play against. We see here with a nice pull. It's a bit short. Inez catches it. Ooh, low disc to Nico. Oh, and they do run the zone, but try with the disc. Yeah, here as we see, he does respect it a bit more, but yeah, gives up that mid-range to Pascal, who dumps it off to Johnny, who dumps it off to Nico. Discover calmly playing through. Nico scoobers it to Patrao, to Inez. Discover handlers not really too fussed right now. They're just trying to make sure that their cutters are in the right place. Johnny through the zone to Inez, who has a wide open Lydia but misses her in the end zone. That's a right look by Inez, but poor execution again, probably down to fatigue. And we now see here the German team on offense. Dumps it off. Oh! And a drop by one-handed drop by the Maultaschen female handler Lydia to Maria. Looks it, surveys the field, looks off Inez. Patrao calmly serving the field. Throws to Johnny. Yes! And that is game. That is game for Discover, and we're through to the semi-final. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna run off to the team now, so see you later. Wait.
Somos Discover, estamos nas meias! Estamos nas meias final, malta! Bora, venham connosco, está aqui, eu e o Pascoal. Pá, jogo muito sofrido. Estamos nas meias! Estamos nas meias! Estamos nas meias! Estamos nas meias! Malta, muito bom! Boa adrenalina, grande jogo, foi sempre aquela intensidade máxima.
Sempre.
Pá, grande jogo, mano!
Depois do intervalo eles perderam um bocado o ritmo e nós... Rebentámos, meu, muito bom. Meu.
Estamos nas meias! Estamos nas meias! Malta, estamos a fazer história. Espero que estejam a acompanhar, precisamos bem do vosso apoio. Estamos a sentir o vosso apoio pelas mensagens que recebemos. Espero que esteja a correr tudo bem por aí. Deem-nos o vosso amor. Paz diretamente da Polónia, tchau! Até já, já nos vemos!